I don't know. Sorry, what was the original question? I'm just mumbling here.
I've got an incredible story. You know the very famous Federer-Nadal final at Wimbledon?
Yes, 2008.
That went into the dark, yeah. So I turned down a ticket to go watch that final.
No.
I know.
That is bad. That's a good conversation starter for people.
Welcome to the 360 show. Thanks for joining me today. Before I start today, I'll shake it up a bit. Go and like the show, subscribe to the channel. I haven't mentioned that for a long time. We are building a great community here, guys, and I want to thank each and every one of you for the support. I watched a bit of Wimbledon over the weekend, and for those of you tennis lovers out there, Djokovic, it's the talk of the town. Can he go all the way at his age? He's not a spring chicken anymore, and you can see that in his game. Going into that fourth set, he started looking really tired, but he used up all of his experience to pull it through. I've actually got the results on here. I'm not going to mention all the names because some of the last names are quite difficult to pronounce, right? Anyway, Sinner's also through, guys. He'll be facing Struff in the quarterfinals. And then here's a tough one. Djokovic playing Felix Auger-Aliassime. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Canadian dude. Pretty, I don't know. It's a French last name, in my opinion, that. But anyway, he's a great player. Also a very famous point. He played with in that, what was it, the 16s against Davidovic Fokina, the Spanish dude. If you haven't seen it, I saw it on Instagram this morning. It is an absolutely phenomenal point where both players just laughed. Felix lost the point and he just burst out laughing, going like, how did we actually manage to pull off an incredible point like that? And then quite a few guys in the fourth round as well, De Minaur and Kaboli taking on each other. Few interesting dudes as well. Zverev is the other guy that stands out to me. But yes, quarterfinals for Djokovic and Sinner. Those are the two big names. And on the women's side, huge upset. I won't say it's an upset, but Naomi Osaka's won 4 majors already. But she's been a little bit lost in the last few years. Haven't heard a lot of her. I'm a huge fan. I remember I was quite vocal when she won. I think it was the first US Open against Serena Williams. And I was quite upset with the way that some of the limelight was taken away from her because of other issues that took place in the game. I'm not going to go into it again because I did take a bit of criticism for being vocal about it, but I still stick to my point. I think Naomi Osaka is an incredible player, and what happened that day was not right. But here she is upsetting Sabalenka in that 16. She goes through to the quarterfinals against Muchova. Once again, pronunciation issues. Pegula and Gauff is the other quarterfinals, and a few others still to be determined. We'll get into that once we get closer to, or get more results rather. Wimbledon is absolutely phenomenal, guys. I also spoke to someone really special. You must have seen a little bit of it on the weekend, but the full interview is on the show today. I will give you a bit of intro to that in a minute. Other news, FIFA World Cup. What an incredible game. England getting one over the hosts, Mexico. In Mexico City, it looked brutal out there. I thought Mexico played most of the football, had possession more than the English players, more shots at goal. I think both teams had 5 shots on target, but Mexico more shots, so really attacking, going after the English players. England with a red card, but it was once again Harry Kane's goal that made the difference. Incredible. I thought Jude Bellingham had a wonderful game as well. There's some other results. I think I did show this to you guys. There it is. We have a little file on the wall here in our house, and we sort of update it with every result that comes through. But it's Paraguay and France. Obviously France getting on top there. So it will be France and Morocco. Sorry about that. In the quarterfinals, and Norway and England, and the other two still to be determined over the next couple of days. It's exciting times in the FIFA World Cup. This is the engine room kind of moment that we've all been waiting for, where the group stages, it was nice, but sometimes a bit boring. And here we are. It's nowhere to hide anymore, and only the cream will rise to the top, right? The rest will sort of fade away. But Erling Haaland for Norway, incredible, leading that victory chant as well, where they hit the drum and do the rowing. I don't even know what they're saying, or whatever. But I thought it's pretty cool with Haaland taking the reins there and leading that with the fans, the very loyal fans of Norway. All right, there's some quick hits. Let's talk about India and with losing 3 T20s in a row now. Bit of a spot of bother. I wouldn't be too worried if I was an Indian fan, because the quality of the team will at some stage come through. There's no doubt about that. It's got more to do with just leadership, direction, a bit of experience. As there are quite a few young faces there. Yes, they've got a lot of experience in IPL, or through the IPL, but still at international level, especially traveling away from home, playing Ireland, England now, which is a tough team to beat. They're a really good white ball team. They're also in the rebuilding phase. So I won't say India's in a rebuilding phase, but they are trying some new talent that's well known on the IPL stage, but not so much on the global stage yet of international cricket. And one of those is Vaibhav Sooryavanshi. Congratulations, young man, for making your debut. And on top of that, being the youngest ever player for India making his debut. I think he's 15 years old and 99 days when he made his debut, 101 days or 102 at the moment. But 15 years, 99 days, guys. That is ridiculous, making your international debut. And it's funny for me to say, but it's about time. I would have played him against Ireland already, just to give him a bit of a taste of international cricket, get him onto the scene, get him experienced as soon as you can. Now, the road ahead for Vaibhav, guys, for a lot of youngsters growing up, the ultimate goal is to play for your country. So where to from here? At the age of 15, has he reached his goal now and that's it? Is he going to be a bit of a flash in the pan, or does he want to become a great and be remembered forever in the history books of cricket, like a Sachin Tendulkar, a Virat Kohli, Ricky Ponting, a Jacques Kallis, a Sir Garfield Sobers, Viv Richards? Do you want to be mentioned amongst those names, or do you want to be the youngest player ever to play for India, and that's at the end of the road? So tricky times. It's going to be interesting to see how his journey evolves over time, guys. And I mean, I'm a big fan. I think the potential is monumental, as long as he can find a bit of a blueprint that he can stick to, something to always fall back on. Because I do believe after the T20s, ODIs will come, and hopefully Test cricket. And if that's the road ahead for him in all three formats, there will be tricky times, there will be obstacles, and there will be difficult times. And I've mentioned this so many times before. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but he's going to need guidance and mentorship through this journey if he's going to play all three formats. But let's not jump the gun. Let's celebrate him for now. What a phenomenal talent. Youngest ever Indian player to make his debut at the international scene. And Vaibhav Sooryavanshi is the talk of the town. And I'm hoping that he will get some runs. Only scored 14 in that first T20 against England. So the next one is, I think, happening today. And very much looking forward to him getting a bit of a start. And he looked at home for what it's worth, only faced 10 balls or so, but he didn't look rushed, unfortunately getting stumped there, Butler making no mistake, and India losing. I think that's more of a worry for them to get the right setup and the right pairings, the right matchups, and for the players to get a bit of experience and to get used to a new captain, right? Shreyas Iyer as new captain there, trying to lead from the front and trying to get used to the Indian team and how they're going to go about playing T20 cricket moving forward. All right, but that's enough of that. Keep your eye on India and England. What a fantastic series to follow. And we'll keep an eye on Vaibhav's form moving forward. Hopefully he'll get a 50 and just sort of get rid of all the pressure. And just to get him to feel home at the international scene will be fantastic. All right, Pakistan news, guys. Babar Azam is back as Pakistan Test captain. They seem to be in a spot of bother, is the Pakistan Test cricket team. I think in all formats, really not finding it easy at the moment to find their feet. But they replaced Captain Shan Masood, who will begin, Babar will begin a third stint as skipper on the tours of the West Indies and England starting later this month. I would like to hear your thoughts on this as well, guys. They seem to be a little bit all over the place at the moment. Is it the right call to go back to someone who's already done it before, not only once, but a couple of times? This will be the third time that they bring Babar back. And I am a fan of Babar. I think he's fantastic, but it is time for him to step up now, to find form as a player, to lead from the front, and to be brave as a captain and courageous. And I think those two words stand out for him, to put his chest out and to lead from the front. I think it's enough now for Pakistan playing around with captains, and they just need their players to front up and to sort of put the peg in the ground, go and score the runs, go do the hard yards, go get the wickets. And if you're in the leadership role, man up and do your thing. All right, so it's been trying times for them. I'm just want to have a look at their record. It's not good. They lie ninth in the current cycle after a 2-0 series defeat in Bangladesh, obviously, and they also finished ninth in the previous WTC cycle. So it's really time. That's not good enough for Pakistan. They're a much better team than that, and it's time for them to step up and to start playing proper cricket again. And hopefully this will be the era. Babar back now, lead from the front, man up, and the rest of the players to follow, get the runs scored, get the wickets bowled, and taken, whatever the word may be, but just to front up and to start playing proper cricket again. All right, guys, Women's World Cup, I sort of called for England to win, but once again, it was Australia beating England. And guys, the dominance this Aussie women's team is showing at the moment is absolutely ridiculous. They didn't even play a close game of cricket in this World Cup, in this T20 Women's World Cup. So dominant from match one right to the final, never losing a match. And not only that, but beating everyone convincingly, especially in that final. I watched the whole final, and there was just never a moment where I felt like they could lose or that England might be sneaking back into the game. From the start to the finish, absolutely clinical. And once you get a wicket in that batting lineup, you just look up and another batter comes out, and you just go, I don't know how we're going to run through this batting lineup. And same with the bowling bowling lineup for them is just so experienced and just so clinical and to the point. So to all the Aussies out there, the women's team, congratulations once again. Phenomenal team, and I think they should be celebrated. Going to Lords in front of the home crowd of England, it's not easy, and I spoke about that in an interview, which I will talk about really soon. But before we speak to Isa, guys, I quickly want to tell you all about what's on FanCode. So it's the West Indies Women Tour of Ireland. So key to the ODI World Cup 2029 qualification pathway for both these teams, guys. Crucial series that, and you can follow that on FanCode, obviously. The West Indies had a decent T20 World Cup. They lost in that semi-finals to an unbeaten Australian team, so you can't really fault them for that. I thought they played pretty decent cricket right throughout, played the pressure moments well to actually get into the knockout stages, but they did lose to Ireland, who had their first Women's T20 World Cup win. So now the two teams clash in Ireland, so it's away for the West Indies, and it's pretty important. Should qualification for the World Cups be entirely like in football? What do you think, guys? Should more teams take part in the Women's World Cups? I think so. I think it's pretty exciting. You get some boring games. I don't want to be quoted with this or take criticism, but for the Football World Cup, I thought there were some boring games, especially if it's completely sort of if there's an imbalance between the two teams. And I think that happens, and that's part of sport, and it's great. It's a great experience for the smaller teams or the less experienced teams. And I think there is room in the T20 World Cups, especially in the women's side, as I think you can get some upsets, which was showed at this last T20 World Cup in England. There were quite a few upsets, and lot of the smaller teams getting really close to going all the way through to the knockouts, which ultimately didn't end up happening. But still, I thought there were enough upsets for us to get more teams and to get more women's teams that are kind of experience that's needed at their level. So we'll see how that unfolds, guys, and hopefully there will be some more teams in the future. Also on FanCode, guys, is West Indies taking on New Zealand. The West Indies will be finishing up a test series against Sri Lanka, who's under the new coaching of Gary Kirsten. That is very exciting. West Indies looking really strong with Darren Sammy as coach, but they will be turning to ODIs really soon. Also on FanCode, that's against New Zealand. It'll be a tough test for the West Indies. And I wanted to talk about a little bit sort of what a coach can actually do in a team and the effect and the impact that he can have. You think of Gary Kirsten with all the incredible experience he's got, having coached the Proteas as well, with good success, taking the Proteas to number one in the world in the test arena between 2008 and 13. He was absolutely phenomenal and a huge impact on me as a player. So a coach can have a huge impact. We've seen that with some of the former players like Darren Sammy, Gary Kirsten, plenty of others to mention. Brendan McCullum for England, who's going through a bit of a dip at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be back. A former player just brings a different dynamic, especially if he can be a good man manager as well. And I think that's where Gary Kirsten really stands out. Darren Sammy, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And you can immediately see that kind of effect that they have on a team, relating to the players, haven't been through the kind of situations and pressure that the players are going through now. These coaches can really relate to the players, and that's the kind of impact they have. Anyway, West Indies and New Zealand ODI series, that is on FanCode. There's also Zimbabwe and Bangladesh ODIs on FanCode, guys. Formula One was quite exciting. You could have watched that on FanCode in case you missed it, but Ferrari is back, gaining points against Mercedes. Leclerc winning on the weekend with Hamilton in third place. Kimi Antonelli, some signs of worry there. And maybe he's going to get caught as he's losing out on a lot of points. Also, after Wimbledon, there will be all ATP matches, so much more. Log on to FanCode to watch all the action. Get your subscription ready and your account sorted out so you don't miss any of the action. Okay, guys, it's time for the exciting interview with Isa Guha. When I spoke to her, she was at Wimbledon. I was so jealous of her being there, but always nice catching up with her. She's got such an incredible amount of knowledge around not only cricket, but sport, on life. She's got a wonderful charity that she founded not so long ago, Take Her Lead, which I loved listening to or hearing about. But if you want to hear more from Isa Guha, stay tuned. This is my interview or my chat with her. I hope you enjoy it. Isa, thanks for joining. I'm not gonna keep you for long. I know you're a busy woman. Isa, so you're at Wimbledon. I mean, I'm a little bit jealous, I've got to say. I'm a huge tennis fan, both on the women's and the men's side. It must be incredible to be there. But what feels different if you had to compare it to cricket? I don't know if you can, but there's so many differences. And anyway, but for someone who's been on the big stage yourself, what makes it different to be at Wimbledon to watch these pro tennis players perform?
So, AB, I don't know if you had the pleasure of being here before?
I've got an incredible story. You know the very famous Federer-Nadal final at Wimbledon?
Yes, 2008.
That went into the dark, yeah. So I watched the semi-finals, both of them perform. It was phenomenal. Went back to the hotel. I was so chuffed, called my mom. A few days later, someone called me and said, "Do you have tickets for the final? Do you want to come watch the final?" I was like, "It's a couple of days out with our test match. I'm just going to give this one a skip. I'm sure it'll be a good final." So I turned down a ticket to go watch that final.
No,
I know.
that is bad. I reckon that's a good conversation starter for people. Like, what's the event that you had the opportunity to go and watch and you turned it down? Like, for me, I can't think of any at the moment, but like that is up there as one that
I know.
that would have been one that I would have regretted for sure, because that's one of the best matches that's ever been played. But
I know. Just back to the question then. What is it about Wimbledon that's so special?
So, and I think you might agree with me here, but with cricket, I feel like we have these open stadiums and you can have, 30,000, 40,000 plus in a stadium watching the cricket, and there's always noise. Whereas when you're on centre court, it just feels magical because it feels intimate because there's less people in that space, there's a lower capacity. Plus, as soon as it goes quiet, it's literally like pin drop silence. So that just builds the tension and the drama before the point is played. And then the place just erupts when there's an incredible game going on, especially when the roof is on. I've seen some incredible matches on centre court where it just comes alive, and it's almost this spine tingling moment when someone has won a rally, or a really long rally, and everyone's had to stay there just watching every single movement on the court. It's really difficult to describe that feeling and that atmosphere, but that for me is what makes it so magical. I think walking in every morning, it's really, really calm, and then it gets super, super busy through the day, but it's just one of those places that you feel like dreams can be fulfilled and special things can happen. And there are only certain places in sporting arenas and that kind of environment that you get that. So that's for me what makes it so special.
Absolutely spot on.
But look,
Wow, look at that.
Naomi Osaka.
Ah, man. Your English test career at the age of 17 against India, emotionally, can you remember the emotions that you went through back then, and what did it feel like?
Yeah, look, honestly, I was 17 playing my
I
first
know,
test match. It was,
madness.
yeah, it was at a time when obviously, under 18, I think you have age restrictions. So I could only bowl 3 spells of 7 in a day. And we didn't play any domestic, 4-day cricket really. So this was like the first time I was playing and bowling as many overs as I was. But yeah, to play my first ODI against India and then the test match was just when I first made the team, it was kind of a big deal, and the media really kind of made a big deal out of the fact that I was the first South Asian woman to play for England. And at that time, I kind of was a little bit embarrassed for the attention. I was the youngest in the team. So, you know, back then when youngsters used to respect their elders, um,
Mm,
I didn't want to draw attention to myself in any way. I just wanted to focus on playing for England and doing the best I could. And only, since I've retired have I realised the importance of visibility. And so when I was playing against India, it was really special actually to be able to do that. And actually what's really sweet is a lot of that team back then, my parents invited them round for some
wow.
food during that tour. And there's this really amazing picture of them coming round to the house. And I remember Anjum Chopra was part of that side. I think she was captain of the side at the time. And just recently, so for the South Africa India game at Manchester, Dad got to see her again, and he always tries to see her when she's around. And they got a picture together. It was really cute.
Oh,
So just those little moments that happen on your journey, and the people that have kind of supported you along the way. And then obviously when I went to India to play as well, it was always a special occasion to be out there
mm,
as a player playing for England, of course, but South Asian roots, Indian roots. So they did
yeah.
embrace me out there, which was great.
Yeah, and let's rewind a couple of more years when, at the age of 12, 13, somewhere there, I think you were quoted saying that there were a few occasions where you almost stopped playing cricket. Feeling isolated, I think, was the word that stood out. Just your feelings there, and how that happened, and how close were you to actually stopping, and what kept you coming from coming back?
Around that time, it's always quite a tricky time when you're a young teenager. As a young girl, you're just wanting to fit in, and I was already playing with the adults back then as well. So, I had some kind of moments where it was tough, and I, I was quite a shy kid back then, and I didn't feel like I was fitting in, and this was more at probably a higher level, and it took basically my mum, because I didn't want to go back. I was doing trials for England, and um, there was there were a couple of situations that everyone faces when they're that sort of age, where you get picked on a little bit, and that is just kind of part and parcel of being a teenager. But I went back. I remember after that particular session, and I said, "Oh, I don't want to. I don't think I want to carry on." And Mum basically just said to me, "That's fine. Um, you could, if you want to stop, you can stop, but feel so much more satisfied if you go back and do the talking with your cricket." And so
Ah,
that's what I did basically. And any time that I felt treated in a way that I probably shouldn't have been, I just go out there and I just do the talking on the field or in
yeah,
broadcast or whatever it is. It's just part of my mentality now. So yeah, if I didn't have that advice, I probably wouldn't have carried on. But I also had older players on the pathway that were really, really supportive of me. And that's when I look at my own personal journey and I go, okay, why have there been so few of us that have played for England from minority background? And I think for girls, they come to sport for lots of different reasons, maybe more so than boys. Um,
mm,
I I've been I was speaking to Moya Dodd, who former Matilda's player and captain, one of the first women on the FIFA board after 100 years or whatever it was. And she said that boys need to be competitive to feel like they belong. Girls need to feel like they belong to be competitive.
oh, I
And
see.
that's what we're yeah. that's what we're trying to create with my charity now, with Take a Lead, is that we have mentors and players on the pathway that can work with young girls that are having their first taste of cricket, and women as well who maybe feel like cricket is not for them, or it's too male dominated. It's really just trying to create those environments that help women and girls stay in the sport.
It's a beautiful story, that, and I love that you're talking about your mom. Who inspired this charity, Take a Lead. I was going to talk about that because it's um, obviously, since your career you went into broadcasting, which must have been quite a challenge, and then finding yourself at the stage where you're at right now in your life. And what is the inspiration after cricket, and especially at the young age of 26? I think you retired. I thought I retired at an early age, and I got criticism for that. But just that jump from cricket to broadcasting, and to realizing that life is not just about performance and rewards and trophies, but doing something incredible like this charity that you're doing. How do you do those jumps, and what inspires you to do so?
I find it's very overwhelming that you, one of my idols, right, watching you was amazing, knows this much about me and my career. It's actually, I'm finding it a bit weird, but thank you. um,
I didn't know much about Take a Lead. I had to read up on it a bit over the week, but it really is inspirational, and I love the whole story. And now you talk about your mom actually picking you up out of some holes and inspiring you to keep going. That's such a valuable life lesson, and here you are still doing what you do best, and inspiring thousands and millions of kids around the world. So it truly is remarkable.
I really appreciate that, AB. Look, we're all part of the same game, right? And we want to
Mm,
continue to see it thrive. And I think that for me is the thing that I think a lot of people who are so entrenched in cricket can lose sight of, when it
yeah.
comes to the women and girls space. I know that perceptions are changing now, because they see the opportunity and the growth. It took breaking the cycle basically with investment into that side of the game for it to grow as
Mm,
much as it has. And ultimately, I through broadcast, I've worked in lots of different sports now, and cricket isn't actually a really good sport. But the way
mm,
the world is going, attention spans are getting a lot shorter. Um, Sport is the one thing that people still watch live, which is great, but it will continue to have to seek relevance. And
mm,
the only way to do that is to make sure that every aspect of the sport thrives, and that's making sure it's as inclusive as it can be. So that's why I think this is really important, and I know you would feel that too.
mm.
In terms of yeah, when I retired, look, I'd already played for England for 10 years, but I've been on this journey from being a pretty average side to becoming the best team in the world, and after
Yeah.
that, I kind of had some questions about what do I do? Because I hadn't really started earning any money. I was just playing cricket really, and I was at university. I was thinking maybe I'll just follow that path. And then I kind of decided, actually, no, I'm going to do a post grad, and I want to make this. I want to be part of a team that's, a dominant force in world cricket, a bit like the Australian team. I want to keep winning. How do we win upon winning? Because that's tricky.
Mm.
And then it got to, 26, and I think I've watched this whole Ben Stokes thing unfold. He's just run out of steam, basically, in my eyes. I think he's just given as much as he possibly can to the sport, and he's just reached a place where he just cannot maintain that level of intensity anymore. And I think for me, kind of, I'm not saying I was anywhere near Ben Stokes, in the way he kind of put in, but in terms of me, it was a combination of factors that made me go, you know what? There are some really talented youngsters coming through. Um, I'm having to put in more work. I was starting to struggle with injury. I was um, trying to combine studies with playing cricket for England, and it wasn't as if I fell out of love with the sport, but I just thought to myself, you know what? This is my time, and I'm kind of ready for the next thing. And I guess in life, you only get one chance, right? And I was very comfortable with where I'd helped to take the team, with obviously being part of that side. And for me, that's what excites me about anything I do. I want to try and push the boundaries, do something that hasn't necessarily been done before, and try and make the environment as good as
Yeah.
it can be to to take to the next step. So, and that includes broadcast. I feel like the environments that I go into, it's always how can we make this the best it can possibly be from a coverage point of view for the viewer. And being part of a team, I love being part of a team. And in broadcast, it's very much the same. I have a full team here at Wimbledon, and I'm the one who's fronting it, but there's someone who's putting the edit together. There's a sound guy. There's someone counting in your ear to make sure you're sticking to time. There's making sure we're telling the right stories and going to the right courts. And it's really, really tricky, actually. And you need everyone working together to create the best output. And that, for me, is what excites me about anything that I do. So you're always just trying to advance that situation or environment. And I know you can absolutely relate to this. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I think also during your retirement stage, it was quite a tricky time in the women's game. It was sort of getting on the scene and getting stronger and more powerful. But I don't blame you for having those thoughts about, like, I need to have other things in place as well. Do you think that the women's cricket has now reached a point where the question is not so much visibility anymore, but more so sustainability, with regards to pathways, coaching, keeping the girls in the game? What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot of investment that's coming at the top level, which is great to see. But it's so important to make sure those foundations are good now. So I'd say, Australia very much led the way, England following that, and now India with WPL, which is incredible, by the way. That's just elevated it to another stratosphere. But I would say in India, domestically, the foundations, that's probably the next area of India I would look at, is making sure the foundations are in place so that all these girls that have been inspired by watching the Women's World Cup team just win there, the One Day World Cup just win there. What is that girl? Where is that girl going to play cricket? If she says, I want to play cricket, where am I going? Are those pathways in place for them to go and play cricket, but also feel comfortable in those environments to be able to keep taking those steps to the next level? So that's what I would say next for India and other countries around the world too.
The basic foundation have been put in place, and the inspiration is the youngsters are dreaming. Young girls are dreaming about being superstars in the game of cricket, and that's where you want the game to be. So it's a matter of just keep going and keep doing what the ladies are doing. It's phenomenal to see the growth over the last 10 to 15 years.
Just to add to that, I'd say coaching is really, really important at a foundational level for young girls. And I'm not saying it should be women only, but I guess I'm saying that the way they're coached needs to be looked at, to make sure that they stay in the sport. And that's educating men as well who are in those environments to make sure that they can evolve and thrive going forwards.
Isha, I'm going to leave you right there. Thank you so
Sorry,
much.
thank you, AB.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your time. Enjoy Wimbledon, and I'm sure we'll catch up one of these days.
Look, it's been an absolute pleasure for me. Honestly, it's been so great to be able to speak to you, and hopefully get to catch up a cricket match or a tennis match at some point.
Such a cool vibe, seeing Wimbledon there in the background, seeing some of the players walk past her. Funny enough, I don't think it was part of the show, but at some stage, maybe I can ask the team to add it. At some stage, Naomi Osaka passed in the background, and she ultimately went on to beat Sabalenka. But you could just almost feel the atmosphere of Wimbledon in the background there with Isha chatting. It was quite tough for me to talk to her because there was a lot of noise in the background, a lot of cheering going on. But it was a nice casual chat. Please support the charity. Take her lead. I think it's a wonderful initiative in memory of her mother as well. Quite an emotional moment there as we spoke about that. But such great feel for the game of cricket and other sports as well. I always love catching up with her, and we'll get her on the show in the near future again. Guys, let's move on to CommsBox. Shreyas Iyer is really good as captain, but I think he will serve better in ODIs and tests as a captain, and it's a better in T20s. For the captaincy in T20 International, Rajat Patidar will be outstanding. Guys, Shreyas is just starting now. I think give him a break, give him an extended period of time to prove if he's the right guy or not. It doesn't take one loss or one victory for that matter to prove that you are a good player or captain. So I think Shreyas deserves a bit of time. I always loved him as a captain in the IPL with his calm demeanor. I by no means think Rajat can't do it. I think he is a valid person to take India forward in the future, perhaps. But it will be unfair to give Shreyas 1 or 2 or 3 games and say, no, he's not the guy. He's been selected now, and I think he deserves an extended period, even though I absolutely love Rajat. Let Rajat focus on RCB for now and winning more trophies. 3 in a row will be nice. And then we can maybe talk about captain of India. That's just my thoughts. Just a little note from a Kiwi. New Zealand beat England in England despite Stokes' retirement. All the noise, I felt that as well. So proud of our boys and love to acknowledge them, which some people have struggled to do. I fully agree. New Zealand always seem to sort of move under the radar, not getting a lot of credit when they play well. And when they don't play well, then people sort of have a bit of a go and always expect them to win. But if they do win, it sort of just gets thrown to the side. I think New Zealand's a wonderful team, very underrated, very experienced. Daryl Mitchell Santner, so many others to mention. But I always look at them as a street smart team, and with them being very experienced at the moment, I think they're going to be tough to beat over the next couple of years. So you are absolutely right. It's not easy to go to England and winning a Test series there, guys, with that crowd. With the Ben Stokes thing retiring in the middle of the Test match, could easily have upset a lot of opposing teams over there or travelling teams to England. But Trent Bridge, New Zealand was just flawless. They played phenomenal cricket. Daryl Mitchell, one of those players who fly under the radar, very, very underrated. Always seemed to feature under pressure for his team. Getting that 100, and that was ultimately the difference between the two sides. But congrats to New Zealand, onwards and upwards to them. I have a lot of respect for New Zealand as a country, and looking forward to host them here as well. Their rugby team, the All Blacks, are travelling to SA very, very soon. So hopefully I will get to watch 1 or 2 of those games at the stadium live. All right, on the Isa Guha collab this weekend, I was wondering if some of you saw that shorter piece. The full piece is obviously up now on this show, so go check it out. But on the shorter piece, 2 of my favorites in one podcast. Thanks, AB and Isha. Thank you for noting that. I appreciate it. And then Mr. 360, I never missed out on your podcast. Lots of greetings from Cape Town, one of our Saffers here. Thank you, Dean Pedro, for locking in and not missing the 360 show. Appreciate that. Let me know what other topics you guys want me to discuss in the next one. Who do you want on the 360 show? Who do you want me to interview and talk to? We'll get Dale staying on here pretty soon as well, maybe for a live. It's been a while since we've caught up. I want to know what that guy is getting up to. He's been quiet. But I will catch you guys on 360 Live this coming weekend then. Also, stay tuned for another Benjamin Sir video. You guys have called my alter ego Benjamin Sir. For those of you who don't know who Benjamin Sir is, he's probably busy in the nets, embarrassing himself. So I'll go have a look what he's getting up to. So stay tuned for a new episode of that coming really soon. Guys, thanks for joining me. Subscribe to the channel, like it, and I will be catching you on 360 Live this coming weekend. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the FIFA World Cup. Enjoy Wimbledon. Lots of great sporting action to look forward to. You know, you can watch all of or most of the action on FanCode. Lots of cool live action on there. So don't miss out on that. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye now.
Oh, has Djokovic just won?
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
3-1.
He just did a funny dance on centre court. I could see it.
Oh my gosh. Probably for his daughter or his son.
Oh, Amy, you might. I'm telling you, like, you need to get centre court tickets for the final. Just saying.
for this year's final.
This year's final, sorry.
Oh my gosh. I think he's got to be there. Yeah. My word. Okay, maybe. I'll get my visa sorted so long.